All right, just a few questions from the viewers. This one's from Alfred. Thank you. Just want to say you are my brother in this giant circle, orb, web, or cell, showing and guiding me to what is true. Don't know what life gave you to experience, nor do I need to know. Feel it primarily in the chest and saying yes to it. Blessing to whole world to sense this beauty. Thank you for the love and dedication to guide us to that which we are. Once we see it, we awaken to it. Exactly. That's it. I can just kind of point or reflect or describe my own experience, perhaps. Although it's not mine and it's not an experience. But somehow what that does is it turns attention inward. And when people's attention turns inward, they start to get a glimpse of their true nature. And then their true nature starts to become more prominent in their experience. And then ultimately they're sort of absorbed into their true nature, and there is only their true nature. We call that awakening. But yeah, I appreciate the comments. This one's from John. This is in the reference to the video, What It All Comes Down to. And the comment says, at 2020, it's wild you mentioned closing the gap. The word sutra has the same Indo-European root as the word suture. It is to bring together. And it's not necessarily that you are bringing together two separate things. This was a beautiful one. Thanks. You're welcome. You know, I remember the first time, actually the only other time I've heard that was the same person who taught me transcendental meditation back in the early 90s. He said the same thing about sutra, the word sutra. I thought that was really cool. He said you could think of it as like sewing together the cloth of yoga. Thought that was pretty cool. This one comes from Chrissy King. She says, thank you. You are a wonderful teacher. I have found your teaching resonates with me so deeply. This video made me smile and feel quite happy and see things much more lightly, accepting my occasional immersion into me without criticism. It's from the video called Embrace the Character Called You. Yeah, this is one of those things that we can misperceive when we talk about anatta or no self-realization or whatever. Like we need to negate the self somehow, or we need to get rid of something called a self. It's not like that, actually. It's more just about looking really closely at what's happening. But the point I want to make about this is what we don't want to do is negate the conventional self. We're not trying to negate the conventional self. The conventional self is just fine, right? The relative self, the storyline of you and your life and so forth, and your psychological makeup and your challenges and your all of it is fine. It's totally fine. Nothing wrong with it. Thank you for your comment, Chrissy. Let's see. This one comes from Kebab's cat. It says, I love you. Thank you. You're welcome. Appreciate it. Same video. What it all comes down to, they're referencing. This one's from Raghirox. Hi, I have this deep longing within me to go home. I like that. I am restless and constantly seeking. My mind is occupied with enlightenment, non-duality, and related topics. My life is going all right, but still there is this feel of incompletion. Your talks resonate with me. But there is still some sort of blockade. I understand there's nothing I can do about this. Just got to wait for the divine wisdom to arrive naturally as life progresses. Well, let me say something about that. We can fixate in different ways. One way we can fixate is in the doer. And there's a massive fixation in the doer among humans. And among humans, we actually share a delusion about this, agency and so forth. But the other thing we can do is we can fixate in the other way and say, well, there is no one, thus there's nothing to do. But the assumption is that doing requires a someone, but it doesn't. Doing happens all the time. Movement happens all the time. Inquiry happens all the time. Meditation happens all the time. And shifts happen all the time. So I don't know you specifically, but just be aware that you can also fixate in the, oh, I don't need to do anything. I don't want to do anything. There's nothing I can do. I'll just wait for life to do something for me. So it's kind of like, well, when you're hungry, do you wait for the food to jump in your mouth or do you eat some food? Right? Similarly, it's okay to inquire. You don't have to talk yourself out of it. It's okay to meditate. It's okay to go to retreat. Whatever you're inclined to do, do it. Don't talk yourself out of it by saying, oh, well, there's no point in that, because that's actually not true. Realization is not to be free from the laws of causality. It's to be free within the laws of causality. So just wanted to point that out. Thanks for your comment. Let's see here. This one's from Fresh Baked Tots. The stalk of the tree bends and calls itself the wind, but this is a lie. Angelo, I'm on the verge of something and I see no thing, I guess. And yet, I don't believe my own eyes. Or I really see, but it hasn't settled where to look. It's like a koan. This is beautiful. It's structured just like a koan. Where to look. Where could you look that you haven't already seen? Where could you look that you have not already been? When you look, is anything changing? If you look from here to there, did anything actually change? Or is the mind just making up stories about it? Are you other than the looking? Is the looking other than what it sees? Any of these questions can lead you into this unbinding, right? The unbinding that's just here all the time. Kind of like always happening, but it's not a happening. It's what's not happening. What is the mind trying to tell you is happening all day long? Some kind of dividing process, judgment, division, seeking, self-doubt, doubt about reality, right? Thoughts. But thoughts have this kind of way of seeming to divide up experience. And yet there's an experience here. There's something here that's undivided all the time, always available, always immediate, here, now. And it is undivided. It's indivisible. Yeah. So it's not about believe or don't believe your eyes. The eyes see. Looking looks. The seen is seen. Nothing changes. Yeah. Good job. Keep at it. This one's from Rick Rucker. It's in reference to a video called Use These Two Moves to Escape from the Matrix. The comment is, yes, because I've noticed that every single thought that comes starts with a feeling, and the feeling is actually, or the thought is actually the definition of feeling, of the feeling. Yeah, right. It's like a thought. The mind like puts a stamp on it somehow. Puts a cap on it, capstone or something. So the feeling is primary. But you don't have to take my word for it. What I would say is feel. Sensation is your gateway to the immediate. If you're actually feeling, if there's actually that pure experience of sensation, there's nowhere else you need to go from there. There's nothing more clear than that. Nothing more clear. From here, enlightenment is a thought. It's a belief. From this sensation, there's just sensation. It's a good practice. It's a good realization / practice because you're already there. This one's from Heidi Dream. It says, the video is called Awakening the First 3 Steps, includes inquiry instruction. She says, I haven't fully listened to the video yet, but was curious. I had a shift in identity December 7th, 2018. One moment I was my old self structure, and the next I was the dissolving of the ego self-structure that took place. What I found is a deep curiosity around why I'm drawn to your videos. And if I'm seeking something during this now space I'm in. Further? ? Next steps possibly? Or at least my now ego self-structure may be. Anyways, I appreciate the content you're putting out there around this experience that's undeniable. Listening allows me a sense of finding my way back home. That's the best way to word it. Beautiful. Yeah, so you're probably familiar with some of my stuff by now, but what I usually say is once you've had a shift in identity, it's not the end of the road. It is the beginning of an unfolding. Now, it's the beginning in a different way, meaning it's the beginning not of something you need to seek. You don't need to go on seeking and so forth. That hopefully will look much more like thoughts to you. But it is the beginning of an unfolding. It's the beginning of an unbinding that actually goes very deep. And that's great news. What an awesome journey to be on, because it's a journeyless journey. You're not going anywhere. But what you've realized, what you've woken up to, what you've recognized having always been here, that is the lens through which all further refinements occur. So when I blab and flap my lips on about deeper realization, I'm not making it up. I mean, it refers to something, but what it refers to is you could say is further refinements of what was initially glimpsed. So it doesn't have to be any kind of seeking. Trust your instinct and primarily trust what was realized as this, because what else could it be? It's just this, right? Trust that. And then as that settles in more and more, and if it's been 7 years or whatever, it's settled in pretty well by now, but you've probably done a lot of shadow work. If you haven't, you will, but you probably have. And just be open to whatever appears here, because if there's shadow material that needs to be experienced, it will appear here. Likewise, if there's a curiosity appearing here, follow that curiosity. A curiosity about, let's say, the nature of subject and object, the fundamental sense of separation. Well, I should say it's fundamental to thought. It's not fundamental to reality. But if that seems like, oh, okay, that is a little extra, I don't need that, it's not actually there, but somehow I'm still perceiving it, then you can investigate in that way. Here, you're not seeking anything, you're investigating the nature of this, specifically the nature of this, not up here, right? Not in consciousness, but in what we consider to be the physical world. That's where the further inquiries occur, essentially. Yeah. But it'll play out how it needs to for you, for sure. Thanks for your comment. This one's from John Elixir. This has come as a surprise to me in the last while. After a long time of thinking it was about peak experience, with or without psychedelics, for example, I see now that real, deeper spirituality is both wonderful, but surprisingly ordinary, and mundane. Yes. Edit. For teachers, I resonate most with Rupert Spira and John Wheeler, at least for Western teachers. And of course, there are the greats like Maharishi and Nisargadatta. The job has been started. Yeah, beautiful. This is not about peak experiences, you're right. It's not about psychedelic trips. It's not about psychedelic experiences of ego death. Those are extreme experiences, maybe. What we're talking about here is, it's just not in the realm of, I can't even say it's mundane or ordinary. It's not in the realm of, or it's not in the spectrum of extreme and mundane. It's just not subject to any spectrum of description at all, right? But it is always. It's always the case. We're not trying to chase some intense experience. Rather, we're looking at the nature of identity itself. We're looking at the nature of the experiencer. We're investigating the nature of the one that seemed to have those experiences and seemed to categorize them and compare them to mundane experiences and suffer and try to end its suffering and seek and be confused and all of it, right? We're investigating the nature of identity itself. How that looks can look any way, any different way. It can look intense. There can be these wild mystical experiences associated with it. There can be intense kundalini energy releases. There can be all kinds of things. Or it can be a pretty straightforward, as far as energetics go or whatever, path. But what it usually is surprising in some way. It's challenging to you. It will challenge you. It has to challenge you because you're confronting the identity structure. So it will be, in some sense, fundamentally challenging to the identity. It has to be. So all of those things are going to happen as this unfolds. And this rabbit hole does go much deeper, my friend. So I think you're in a good place. And thanks for your comment. Just scrolling through some comments here. Good. This one's from Water of Compassion. It says, your teaching of this stuff is brilliant. I'm so grateful for this. The bit about shame, etc. coming up is what you came for. What is happening is what should be happening. The mind creates this image of what awakening is going to be. What awakening is going to be like a defense against feeling what is actually happening. What is happening inside you is what you need, not to bypass those icky feelings so that you get more avoidance or are calling awakening. Oh, I'm sorry. So you get more avoidance, you're calling awakening. The thinking apparatus can never grasp awakening. Yeah, exactly. All these points are on the mark. I guess you're reflecting on a video I made, but was it? This is exactly right. Man, I mean, can't be stated much more simply than that. What should be happening is what is happening. There's no other should than that. And any other should is la la land, dreamland. It's delusion. There's no other than this. When you see that, no other, both in possibility and in even physicality, things get so simple, like so exquisitely simple. It's right here. Everything is right here. No future to look for or seek a realization in. No past to try to drag into this moment and carry the burden of it. It's just this. Just how it is. Didn't come from somewhere. It's not going from somewhere. Going to somewhere. It's not supernatural. It's not mundane. It's just what it is. Beautifully what it is. Exquisitely what it is. Fully what it is. It's also boundless, meaning what it is, what this is not cut off from anything. You can feel that interconnectedness. Very important. And the intimacy of it. Yeah. Thank you for your comments. Thank you everyone for your comments. I do read them almost all, if not all. I answer the ones I can, but not all of them. Appreciate y'all.